Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shoreline Show. We have an awesome guest today. His name is Braxton Picou, and he is the best shooter on TikTok.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, he definitely
Welcome,
branded
Braxton.
himself
Doing our
as
thing, shooting basketballs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, out here.
If I could be half as good as you, I'd be amazing.
Aw,
No.
that was so sweet.
Yeah, I
what does
know.
that make me then? Remarkable?
It does.
Cunning?
Yeah, for
Fine.
sure. I love it.
I'm with it.
Yeah, so Braxton is a good friend of mine and got to learn a lot from him. I learn stuff from him regularly. And
Learn stuff from you too.
absolutely, yeah. When you have a power team and you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with, right?
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
Hang out with the right people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to dig into a little bit about who you are, and I know, but I don't think the world knows. So I'm kind of excited to kind of share and get to know you on a deeper level and let the world know today.
The world
So-
will know. You will know Braxton Picou after this.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So let's start with, what was it like for you in your childhood? Like, who was Braxton as a child? How did you? just come up?
Braxton always wanted to, do something different. Like, Braxton never wanted to just be normal, like the status quo type of thing. Braxton was shy. Braxton was homeschooled in his circle, just to himself. But Braxton always wanted to, be something, do something different outside the box. Never wanted to, work for someone, typical job type thing. Just, I don't know, big dreams.
Right.
As a
Absolutely.
kid. Didn't know how I was going to do it or what I was going to do, but wanted to do it. So that was Braxton in a nutshell. Big dreamer. That's what I'm going to say. Dreamer.
Still are.
Yeah, still is.
I love
So
it.
the whole homeschooling thing for you was probably a really great thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think homeschooling too, like, I think it motivated me
Yeah.
because, kids are kids,
Yep.
say what they say. But it really motivated me. It's like, okay, I've been dealt different cards than most people. Like, how can I take these cards and make it something? Okay, they're doing all of this with the cards they've been dealt. Well, I've been dealt different ones, so that means I can do something different. I can go outside the box. I can use my time this way that they can't. So, I really, I guess, strategically more thought as a kid. Thank you, Jesus. I was a strategic thinker. Thank you, Dad. Dad, if you're watching this, thank you for teaching me to think like that. But, yeah, I used my time differently. So, like, I'm like, okay, if I get my school done early in the morning, like, I can go play basketball more time than they get because they're in school all day. So it's like I have more time to focus on what I want to focus on. So
Did you find that, like, so I homeschool my kids as well. You know that is
Yeah.
one of the things that
great kids, by the way. Great kids.
Thanks.
them.
Yeah, I'm partial to them for sure. Yeah, so what I find is a lot of the time, if it's done right, homeschooling, it actually cultivates entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Just for the sake of, I think, school, it sometimes, even though you're learning a lot, it can limit your thought process because instead of you're being told every single day what to think and how to
Exactly.
think, instead of it being more on the creative side.
No, I agree. It's just like you said though, it's when it's done right. I don't
Right.
like homeschooling when it's parents that have a classroom in their basement and they do school for 8 hours a day just like they would if they went to school. At that point, just send them to school. Because the
Right.
only reason you're homeschooling them is to keep them away from other people and then keep them away from what could happen. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not for the child's like benefit. But when it's done in like my parents were like, okay, Braxton likes this, Braxton's good at this, Braxton thinks like this. It's like, okay, we're going to put him in environments to do this, do that, do this, do this. Then it's like I started thinking of ways to, like, how can I better my future? Because, like, I don't even know if I'm the most educated person in the world, like, but I feel like I'm street smart. I feel like I know how I work. I know how the
Facts.
world works. I know how people work. And I've been able to leverage those things, I feel like, because of how my parents taught me how to look at the
Well,
world.
I think they also exposed you to things.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't like you were sheltered, this homeschool person that was sheltered from people. They exposed you to a lot of the world.
Exactly.
And they did control, I would say they controlled maybe some of the environments you were around.
For sure.
Like they weren't.
And I'm thankful for that. Like that is something I'm thankful for. Because, I mean, you never know. It just takes being in the wrong place one time.
Right.
And it can set a downhill spiral in your life. You know, you never know.
Right.
Takes one bad decision sometimes. So I am thankful for that, for sure.
Right. But, you know, I mean, it's cool to see that they were able to expose you to things in different types of environments.
Yeah, exactly.
To where I think that kind of drove to where you are today, is that you were able to see different types of people and how they live and realize that there's greatness in all of them.
Exactly.
And you can piece together who Braxton is through all of them.
Yep.
Right? Not one individual person.
100%. And I think, too, like, another important thing to note in that is just, like, faith. Like, my parents, like, I think my parents did a good job of teaching me faith, not from, like a religious standpoint to where it's like you have to wake up and pray every morning. You have to pray before you have to you know, live like this. You can't do this. You can't do that. But it was just like they really just instilled in me just like, wow, like love Jesus. Just like really like love God. And then it's like I feel like I see the world and I see people, and I feel like this has really helped me in business and just like meeting entrepreneurs, influencers. It's like you really see people for who they really are and not what they have. Because a lot of people look, oh wow, he's a millionaire. Oh, wow, he's got a nice car. He's got all these chains around his neck. Like he's doing really well. He gets crazy views. But I mean, I have tons of friends that have all of that, and it's like you see them for who they are, and it's like you get a better connection with them because you really know how to talk to them.
Right.
And it's like because everyone looks at that stuff. So they're used to hearing, oh, you're awesome, you're this, you're that. But they're like, why am I sad? Why am I this? Why can't I do that? And I feel like my parents really taught me like how to see the world and people for what it really is.
Right.
So, and a lot of it is faith-based. You know, you can really see someone's heart, you know.
And it's not those things. It's not even like TikTok for you. It's not what defines you.
No. If I lost it all tomorrow, like I'd be fine.
Because it's you know who you are, so these things aren't what defines you. And you, it sounds like you learned that, and your parents instilled it in you in a really young age.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, if it all disappeared tomorrow, I mean, of course it would take a little. Okay, like, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
But no, I literally had this conversation last night with Taylor's parents. They were asking me the same thing, like, do comments get to you? Does hate get to you? Like, how does that affect you for real? And I was like, honestly, not really, because it's really not me. It's what I do, and I love it so much. I love being creative. I love when kids come up to me and ask for pictures and be like, what the junk is that? Like, bro, I love you. Like, that's awesome. It makes me feel like, wow, I'm doing something. I'm making an impact on these kids. But, like, honestly, if it was gone tomorrow, like, I know I could do something else and be just as happy.
Somewhere.
Exactly.
That's where your heart is.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I think that's where a lot of people in our positions as entrepreneurs and influencers mess up.
Yeah.
They make it their identity. And that's anything. That's honestly our generation. They make things their identity. You know, what I look like, who I am.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I noticed when I was a kid, parents that their kids, they had money, they would buy their kids these cars, and or they'd have like the really nice cars, and that actually became who they were. And it was amazing how like other kids would follow them, right? Like could you imagine if you had like this really fancy car at the age of 16? Now girls like them more. You have you have more friends. You have all these things. Why? Because you have the sweetest car, right? And it's weird because that'll actually be who they are, and then as they get through and they don't develop through not having the car, and I think not having things sometimes, I think you can actually hurt people by giving them something. Things. And I know Shelley and I talk about that a lot. Is these you know, when you give people like leads or you give them success too quickly, they're not developing those skills themselves. So I think that's kind of where through the process of you doing the things that you have done with TikTok, you realize that you're not too worried about all the other things. It's not your identity. You are. And it took me a while for myself to realize that, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's easy to get lost in the sauce. Like, especially like when you are, I mean, because entrepreneurs, what are we? We're probably the hardest working people, because if we don't do well, we don't provide.
Right.
And, you know, so like we have to perform at a high level. We have to always be first one in, last one out kind of mentality. Anything that we do.
Well, entrepreneurs give up the 40-hour-a-week job to work 80 hours.
Exactly.
Like we just do, and we love it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
people don't understand why we would do that, but like I don't understand why
That's
they
good.
would want to do it the other way.
Yeah.
Like, it just boggles my
Yeah.
mind, you know?
Yep.
So-
And that's like, people look at me all the time and they're like, wow, you kind of have like a free life. And I don't think people understand, because like, I don't have anywhere I have to be.
Yeah.
I can be anywhere I want to be. I can
Yep.
do whatever I want to do and go wherever I want to go, whatever. But like, my brain and everything that I'm doing every day is always about work or making a video, content, people, going somewhere, meeting someone. And I don't think people really realize that.
Right.
It's not a clock in,
Well,
clock out.
I don't know if you run into this, but I run into this where people think you have all the time in the world.
Exactly.
So they'll
No,
think
exactly.
because you're an
I
entrepreneur-
hate that so much.
Like
Oh,
my
yeah.
my wife's an entrepreneur as well, and one of the things I find is they think we'll have some people that we know and we care and they're our friends, but they'll think that my wife can just like, hey, drop in the dime, stop in all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's
Wait
so
a
much
minute,
we
I
like.
got stuff going
I don't,
on.
every minute of our day is typically booked out with things, and we're very purposeful.
Yeah.
I think entrepreneurs, when you hit a peak, you start to realize that you want to be very purposeful in everything you
Yeah,
do.
for sure.
Right. So if I'm going to hang out with, like, I think about the nights that we've after church, like sit in the parking lot in your car and just like talk.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that it's like those are powerful conversations, but you have these things where you're like, no, this is important to me. But you just stopping over and just to hang out and let our dogs play or whatever it may be. It's
Yeah.
like I don't have time in my life for that.
Exactly.
Unless there's a purpose that we're either
Yeah.
growing each other
Yeah.
or we're doing something business wise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everything that we do has to have a purpose to it.
Has to have a
because
purpose.
Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
100%.
And it doesn't always have to be making money.
No,
it could be like
no.
like us and it's spending.
But like this,
Yeah.
like, you know, 100%. And that's what I was like. I mean, like, this is, I mean, a great experience. Like, even for me, like, being on a podcast, talking to you guys. I mean, y'all have way more experience in, you know, entrepreneurship and then just like leadership, like whatever than I do. And it's like, you know, that's valuable. So even though I'm not making a TikTok right now, it's like, wow, I'm gaining out of this. So it's I get that 100%. And a lot of the things too, like y'all said that, because this is the stage of my life that I'm in right now. Because it's like, I'm still young enough to have all the people in my life before I started this journey, and now I'm getting people in my life after I've started this journey. But the people that from before don't really understand that, you know, because
Yeah.
I don't have anyone in my circle from before that really works like I do.
Right.
It's I clock in at 9, leave at 5, and it's just like
And they don't understand.
I
what
got
you
my
do.
weekends off. I'm like, man, I work more on the weekends. Like
Same,
that's
yeah.
because that's the bit. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like, but people don't get that. Like, hey, come here at this time. It's like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, like, what do you mean you can't? I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I got to do this. I got to do this.
They're like,
So-
but I seen you hanging around the pool at noon on a Monday.
Yeah.
And that's when they're at work. And there's times where you can fit it in. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you might be with your girl and you might be hanging out on like a Monday or a Tuesday at noon because that's what makes more sense
Yeah.
for you. And they're like, well, if he does that, weekends have to be more available. to
Yeah,
him.
100%.
And you're like, no, it's just how things in
There's
our,
no time off. It's just like whenever you
time
make
off.
time. Like
Yeah.
whenever it could, but you can't make time all the time. You know?
Right.
Well, and I think real estate has always been kind of the same way for us, and we've told agents that, like, it's a true lifestyle.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think what you do is probably the same thing.
Oh, for sure.
It is a true lifestyle. You live your life, you design your life the way you want
Mm-hmm.
it, you prioritize family, things like when our kids were little.
Absolutely.
I know you do
I'm
this
in that boat right now.
all the
Yeah.
time. Your kids are way more priority than anything else, so you put
Yeah.
that in your schedule first.
Yep.
And then everything else goes in and around those
Yeah.
things. And that's how we can achieve such a full and rewarding life.
Yep.
Because we're designing how we want our life to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't get, and why I don't, and there's so much of the population that they do work a 9 to 5 or a 40-hour job, or maybe it's not 9 to 5, but it's, you know, hourly, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're tied to working these, you know, I have to come in and clock in here and clock out there. They can't make their schedule. They have to work around the schedule that's
Yeah.
given to them. And that, like, I have such a
Good.
hard time with
Yeah.
that. And I've never had the whole clocking in thing.
Yeah.
The only time I did was when I did hair for years.
Yeah.
And I had to have a schedule then. But even then, I could make my schedule.
Yeah.
But
now I'm
this
trying.
is even more. Like, I can make my schedule whatever I want it to be. So.
You said a lot of good points. One, I mean, I got two things, but one, this is to all my single entrepreneurs watching this, looking for someone. One thing that you said was prioritize. You have to find someone that has the same priorities as you. And you said one thing that really stuck out, because this was my last relationship, was I feel like one of the struggles between us. When I don't want to work, my priority is spending time with my family. It's not spending time with friends. It's not spending time with like people outside of my family. It's my family. Her was friends. I want to spend time with my friends. I want to do this. I want to go here. I want to go there. Cool. That's fine. But it's just like, it's really, really hard when, like you said, I'm making my life. I'm building my life. I want to build my life. I want to have my family in it. I want to have my work in it. And that's what I want. And then I want you to be a part of this, and I want you to come in. But if you're talking to someone or with someone and they don't see like that, like that's something important. You need someone on your team. What else do you say? Building your life. 2, building your life. I think that's super important. I like how you said that, because I've never heard someone, I mean, I guess I have, but I guess it hasn't resonated. But like, you really can build your life.
Yeah.
Like that's, it's crazy, because that's also a part that I'm at right now. And I've talked to you about this, but like, I'm done mentally trying to, like, I'm done with the mindset of trading my time for money.
Absolutely.
Like I'm over that. I'm 24 years old and I'm already like, this is stupid. Like, this makes why would I, work 10 hours in a day to make $200? Like, that's 10 hours of my life gone. Like, I could work 80-hour weeks for a month and come out with a product or a business or something that's going to pay me $200 a day to sleep, to do something else, to hang out with my friends, to hang out with my family. That's like making me money on the side. It might be really hard up front to do, but like, there's things that I can do to leverage this and to where it can give me that freedom, that build my life aspect. And that's where I'm at. And I think a lot of people need to start thinking more like that. Okay.
Well, that's for me, I see those same people, and that's how I am too. I'm always thinking 10, 15, 20 years down the road, and how this can impact my life 20 years down the road, maybe not necessarily a week. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for in a paycheck, which I think is great. I do think for certain people that is a good thing. They like that security, and they don't want the headache, because there's a lot of stress that comes from what we do too. But I'm looking for 20 years down the road is the things that I'm doing, cultivating, and am I reaping those benefits? It's so sowing those seeds of what I want my life to look like. So you truly get what you put into your life, like, and you can create that world for sure.
No, for sure. No, I get that. And where was I going to go off of that?
I'll ask you a question until you can think of it.
All right, bet.
So your childhood, you were homeschooled, your parents. What was like? I know your dad; he's extremely creative, right? And I think your mom is as well. And how did that play a factor? Because I know your dad did some pretty big things in his life when it came to working with some pretty heavy hitters, and he's probably one of the most talented people I can think of. But he also chose to do it for the greater good, even though he could have probably stepped out and did things,
a different way.
Did it a different way, where he probably could have had the wealth, but he chose to pour into people. Right? And I'm not saying he doesn't. He didn't. But how did that impact you, and where like...
Gave me a superhero, man.
Like, for sure. That's what I was trying to get at. Your dad is.
My whole life. Like, I'm like so... And I don't know if I tell him this enough, but like, I am so grateful for my dad. Like, that is my best friend. That is the person in this world that knows everything about me, everything I've ever done, every mess up, everything. My whole life, he's been my best friend. He was hard on me, but he loved me at the same time. He wasn't harsh on me. I think that's a difference, hard and harsh. He expected me to do well. He expected me to perform. He expected me to give everything I had. He expected me to be respectful to people, to girls, to whatever, to coaches, people, peers, whatever. But he was fun. I don't know. My dad, it just really gave me something, even though I didn't go into like the same field as him. He taught me to think creatively. He taught me to think outside of the box. And he just taught me to be a respectable man in every situation, I feel like. And I don't know. My dad's my biggest role model.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I spend more time with my dad than anyone else on this planet. So, yeah, I don't know. It really did help me a lot. It helped me. Like I said, I remember story time. So if you know me,
hit it.
I'm like, I can say some out of pocket stuff, funny jokes, right? I just talk, and my mind works fast, creative brain, you know. So I'm working fast. I'm doing this, and as a kid, I was really fast. My dad would say something, sit down. There's not a chair, like you know, like just like whatever. Just I was quick. And I remember this one word, and I still think of it, is like edit. My dad used to always tell me, edit what you say, edit what you say, edit. And now I make content, so I'm an editor. But that's one thing that stuck with me. So like when I'm with people, like I'll just hear that word edit. And it's like, okay, whenever I hear that word edit in my head, I'm like, okay, that's God telling me, don't say that. Listen to what they have to say, the full thing they have to say, and then answer the question. And it really did teach me how to like listen to people, not half listen, because I think we get in this as people, especially people that like to talk, and especially people that have a lot of stuff going on in here. It's like we want to get our point across, and we want to say what we got to say, and we got to get it out, and that's awesome, great, good job, keep doing you, boo. But like, you know, like it's more important to listen to people and give good advice and not just advice. No,
right.
You know,
well, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Exactly.
Purposes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, my dad's awesome.
That's awesome. How did that affect who, like when it comes to that transition? Was there a moment when, so you're learning this from your dad, you're learning all these tricks. Is there a moment that transition to like, or do you feel like you always were there, like entrepreneurship?
I think I was just always built. I just never saw myself. I was always a super hard worker. If I wanted something, I got it. Not just by like parents giving it to me. Like I worked for it. Like I remember I wanted a pair of Yeezys, and this was when Yeezys were really popular. I was like 14, and you know these shoes are like $750. And you know, as a kid, 12, 14 years old, I worked. I just found whatever I could to do to get these shoes, and I finally did it. I even printed out a picture of them, like, oh, I'm gonna have these, and I did that. So I don't know if I could credit my dad for the entrepreneur side of me, because I mean, like I would say he's getting it more now, like as he's growing up. I think I've kind of helped him, because like you said, my dad has chosen to serve God with his gifts and abilities. Like, I mean, my dad had said, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but my dad said like offers from like Disney, big companies to go work for him and like do what he does, but at the grandest scale. Yeah. And he has turned them down and said no to be a children's pastor, because that's where he feels like God's called him to be, and that's where his ministry's at. And I feel like, you know, for doing that for so long, he's kind of like held back the business side, making money, bettering himself, his family, his home, like whatever. And now that he's seeing me kind of step out the box and do it I'm still able to impact kids, do what God's called me to do, and I'm starting to do well financially. He's starting to see, it's like, oh wow, like I can do it all. Like it doesn't have to just be one way. Like I can do it for myself. And
that's amazing that he can learn as much as he taught you. He's learning something from, or he taught you, now he's learning something. That's pretty cool.
And that's why I say my dad's my best friend, because like, and that's one thing that I respect about my father too. My dad has never been shy to change. Like if he's messing up in an area, and he's let me see it, like, and that's one thing where I will never be a prideful man and never be stuck in my ways. If someone says I need to fix something and it is an issue, like I will work so hard to fix it, because like my dad has done that my whole life. I've seen him grow so much, because as men, we think we got it figured out.
Yeah.
And we think we're doing everything right. But my dad he's noticed things. And my dad's always been a great man, and he still is. But, like, he's noticed things, and he's honestly made conscious changes. And it's like I've seen his progression, and even my mom and their relationship. Like, I don't know. They're great role models.
That's
I love
pretty cool.
Aw,
That's awesome.
so
But
sweet.
I love that. So what experiences, is there any like experiences with like, so I know of a few, and I wouldn't mind hitting on that, like when you first started getting into what you're getting into, there was times where people try to shut it down, shut you down, because you wanted to take these huge leaps forward, and it was like, it seemed very, at the time before doing something, it seems unrealistic.
Yeah.
Man, you're crazy for doing this. Why would you give up what you're doing? Like, I want to shut it down because it might not benefit my needs. Hit on that a little bit. Like how that works for you.
Yeah.
Maybe not, you don't have to address like specific topics or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think it goes back to the point of you can build your own life, like you said. Like, everyone's trying to build their own life. And when you're building your life and it doesn't align with what they're building their life, you know, they might try to shut you down because they don't see what you're trying to build. And, you know, I think for young entrepreneurs and just people in general, like, if you're trying to build your life, like, just realize there's going to be even good people. I'm not saying everyone
100%.
in my life was a good person that tried to shut me down and some of them were, some of them weren't, but you just need to realize that people aren't going to see it just because that's not what they're trying to build.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good.
And that's okay. Like, it's fine. But if you believe in yourself, you know you're capable of doing it, go do it. Like, you know, it might suck for a while. You might be, you know, eating ramen numerals, noodles, whatever it's called.
Roman numerals.
You beat me, man. Man, that was gonna be a great TikTok clip until I botched that.
Eating Roman numerals.
Yeah, you might be struggling for a while, but like, if you have a vision, I mean, I didn't start making money from this. I mean, I had 700,000 followers, and I wasn't making nothing.
Right.
You know, and you know, so, but I had a vision of what I wanted, and I'm still not where I want to be.
Never will be.
I never will be, but I'm definitely seeing the road now,
Right.
and it's definitely starting to happen, and it's like, wow, okay. But if I would have never took that step 3 years ago and stepped away from a good opportunity, because I had a great opportunity 3-4 years ago,
Right.
but it wasn't as great as what I'm doing now.
Right.
And the cool thing, like I said, now I'm building my life. Someone's not building it for me and telling me where to go, where to be, what to do. I'm able to do that.
Right.
If I want to be somewhere, I'm going to be there. If I don't want to be there,
That's the beautiful part. It's not cookie cutter.
exactly. So
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of mining a little bit, gold mining, right? And you're digging through this mine, and you know the gold's there. You've done the research. You know where it's at. But not other people that don't know anything about it.
yeah,
Don't see it, and so you're constantly mining this gold, right? And you're like, okay, but I know there's more in there. I know there's more in there, and you're like, and there's this big ticket, but it's like, it kind of just reminds me of that. So where you're constantly going for this thing, but other people don't see the gold that your gift is, because the fact is, somebody doing what you, if they want to follow you, they're like, I want to follow Braxton, I want to do what they do. They necessarily can't. Not everybody can.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain personality. You have to have a certain type, along with a skill that you had, right? So not only was it that you have people skills.
Yeah.
You're funny. You also are good at basketball, right?
Yeah.
So it's all these things that God called on your life that you're like, okay, I know that I can pull this off, but it might be solely different for Shelley. Shelley's not going to be dunking a basketball today,
No.
no matter how hard she tries, even if she is inspired by you.
Yeah.
You know?
I can tell you that that's not going to happen ever.
Hey, use the 75-day jump challenge, and you can get bouncy like Shelley will be. Shameless plug.
That's awesome.
What I
like
do like, though, what you said is, you're like, oh, I have 700,000 followers, and you weren't making any money.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, as you're saying that, is like, I feel the same way in our business. Like, we've got all this stuff, and we're at a point where it's just going to take off, but the outside looking in,
Yeah.
I'm sure when the outside looks in at you with 700,000 followers, they're like, oh, he made it.
Oh, everyone thinks I'm rich. I'm like,
Yeah, and we get the same thing.
Not rich.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
yep.
I think we
And-
just choose to look at it as an opportunity of
Yeah.
abundance instead of scarcity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we look at everything in life, and let's just say this table for an example. We look at it and say, all right, we choose. Most people say, wow, there's not much opportunity, but we look at it and say, oh, the person that manufactured this cap,
Yeah.
they're probably worth a couple $1,000,000. The person that not only the bottle.
Yeah.
But the person that manufactured the plastic for the bottle
Yeah.
is a millionaire. The person that did this bolt just on this is a
Yeah.
millionaire. The person that made this is successful. Every little thing that we see, these people have created.
Not a millionaire. Just successful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
successful.
I'm just
Right.
messing-
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm with you, I'm
So
with
there's
you.
opportunity everywhere, and we choose to see the opportunity everywhere instead of sitting there saying, "Oh, there's no opportunity."
Yeah.
And I think those people that say, "I'm gonna harness that," and say, and whatever your field is, it could be TikTok, it could be real estate, it could be anything.
Yeah.
And I think entrepreneurs, I don't think you're done, and you're not. I know you.
No,
I know
no,
you.
no, for
you're
sure.
not done at TikTok. I mean, in 20 years, 30 years, I don't think I don't see you also being the type of person that says when you're 55, 65 years old, I'm ready to retire. I don't think entrepreneurs ever retire because you're not looking at it as in a dollar amount more than it is, I just want to do stuff.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And that's what I feel like my 20s is. So I feel like my 20s, I'm trying to figure out how, like I said it earlier, but like to build my life to where I'm making money. I don't want to use the word passively because people use passively too much, but I want to figure out how to not trade time for money. And then by my 30s, I'm set. So if I take risk, if I take mistakes, I'm fine. I can afford it. You know what I'm saying? I've set myself up in my 20s. And then, have these stage in my 40s, I want to open up gyms and I want to have trainers under me and, they train and do all that. And I'm just kind of running the whole thing. I could be making content for it, whatever. And then in my 50s, now I just enjoy life. And then I'll be probably still doing with basketball. I'll probably have my own AAU team, like a whole club, probably be involved with something with the NBA, Boston Celtics, if y'all seeing this. By my 50s, I want to be involved. But, like,
That's
I'm
awesome.
just saying. So, like, there's stages to things. Right now, 20s, best shooter on TikTok. And a 30-year-old man saying he's the best shooter on TikTok probably won't be happening anymore. So the content will change. But, I might be doing something like this, podcast, something more, like, relational with the people.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about, like, building an audience, too, because it's like y'all grow up together. Like
time.
I've had people from the beginning that comment on my stuff all the time still. I've been following you since you were at 10,000 followers. Like, man, you've come such a long way. Like, I love your content. Like, I've been with you since the beginning. And it's like they really do get to, like, grow up with you. That was I thought about this the other day. So at my apartment, the door I have to go in, there's this window. And there's this guy always sitting there playing video games. And he's like 30. And I was like, wow. I'm like, 10 years ago, no 30-year-old was playing video games. But all these kids grew up playing video games, and
Right.
now they're 30.
And
And
they're
now you
still
have a
doing
culture of 30-year-olds
Yeah.
that game every day.
Yeah.
It's the same with building a following. You build a following, and that following grows up with you. So, like, they were 10 when they started following me. Now they're 13. In 3 years, they're going to be 16.
Right.
And they're going to grow up
Yeah.
with me, and they're going to mature with me, and it's cool. They get to see that, and I get to impact their life. So, like, doing more stuff like this when they're 16 is probably being more valuable because they're going
Right.
to be having these thoughts. Oh, I
Right.
don't think going to job's for me. They hear Braxton, someone they've been following since they were 13, say there's another way.
Right.
It's like, oh, shoot. Okay, now they're more invested in this type of content
And you're okay to
than
make
they were.
mistakes too.
Exactly.
Right. It has nothing to
Yeah.
do
Exactly.
with
So I think it's going to be a constant, like you said, evolution of this. It's never going to be done. This best shooter on TikTok is just how it started.
Yeah. That's
So.
pretty awesome.
I'll always be the best shooter on TikTok, though. Don't check me.
Somebody's gonna take that title.
Nah.
There's
You might be better than me. You won't take my title.
maybe
Tired of stinky boy.
Shelley might. You better watch out.
You shoot?
No.
You shoot? No.
No.
No. Well,
husband
download the
might.
perfect shooter, and you'll become a great shooter in 6 weeks. Promise.
Yeah.
Link in
Steve
bio.
does. Steve balls. Does he
likes
still
it.
ball?
Well, he hurt his knee, so yeah.
Got you.
He doesn't anymore, but he loves it.
Yeah.
Loves basketball.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got all this stuff going on. Do you have anything that's new where you're like, this is my next big move?
Girlfriend.
No,
are you talking about business?
No, or life. Girlfriend is a good answer too. Yeah, for sure, both.
I'm definitely investing in that right now. Taylor's a sweetheart. Big moves right now. I basically said everything, but so I have a perfect shooter course. It's a 6-week shooting program that's guaranteed to make you a better shooter. But I made that 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I think my biggest downfall in life, and I do think I get this from my dad, is being scared to put yourself out there. Like, sell yourself.
Right.
Sell yourself.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm fine with putting myself out there. I make videos. I make content. I don't care looking like a dork in front of a camera. I don't care how I look. I don't care what I sound like. I don't care if girls think I'm attractive. I don't care. I just want to entertain. Like, that's my goal. Like, so I don't care. But when I come to say, hey, man, I made this, you should buy it. That's always been an insecurity of mine. Because it's like, okay, people work hard for $20, $50, whatever in the world. And I get that, especially kids. Like, they got $20, $50. It's like, wow, that was like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of allowance saved up. Why should I buy your course?
Right.
And, that's always been like my biggest, like, I haven't really promoted it because I've been scared. Because I know it's a great product. I know the top trainers in the world. I've worked with all of them. I've met all of them. I've shook all their hands. I've trained with them. I've seen their stuff. I've done their stuff. And I know mine competes.
Well, I think you're starting to, you realize that there's a responsibility that comes with it.
With someone putting their money, there's responsibility, like, to provide and to perform for them. And I realize that. So this year, that's my goal. And is to make that my moneymaker. Because right now, I do a lot of affiliate marketing. That's probably my biggest moneymaker. Views, all that. I work with companies, like 3 companies on retainer. So that's like how I'm doing it now. But I want it to be, that's extra, and my brand, the perfect shooter, best shooter on TikTok, my courses is like it. You know, so that's kind of like, I guess, the next thing.
But that's another way to connect with your audience on a more personal level. I feel like too. Yeah. It's like you're spending the time with them, instead of it being necessarily just somebody else paying you to get their idea out. You want it to be more like, I'm engaging with you a lot. Yeah. But it's so when you do that, you're going to do these courses. Do you see yourself kind of promoting your school or your gyms that you're talking about?
Like how I'm doing it?
Yeah.
Like how I promote it?
You're doing it now, right? So you haven't hit on, like, you do these course takeovers. That's where I'm kind of trying to go. Or these park takeovers, right? Yeah. Which is kind of cool. Like that's a thing that I would like to hit a little bit on, where you're like, not only you're pushing your brand out there, but now it's like not just digital. You're saying, no, I want my community of people, and I'm going to come into your town, and boom, you're actually going to see me. We're going to talk. We're going to be together. Oh, for sure. I can kind of see like that's the future, but on a grander, more organized scale in the future. But explain how that core that. Keep saying course, but because I can see it going to course eventually, but right now it's just park takeovers.
Well, right? I'm not a park takeover guy. Like, I won't take credit for that. I would say Devontae Freya started that, and shout out Devontae and shout out Cam Wilder. They were kind of the ones that really made that a thing, and then Ball is Life took it and ran with it. I know most of these guys have a relationship with them. They're the ones that really pioneered that. But I think park takeovers are just great. I'm not a in your face, better than you kind of guy. When I play, that's just not who I am. So I'm not a huge fan of the park takeover scene because that's kind of the culture of it. It's, I'm gonna make you look bad. Everyone here is gonna freak out because I dunked on you or I did this, I did that. So. But I like doing them because I do it in a different way. I do it more as a meet and greet. I do it as I want to entertain you by making you laugh, having a good time, and I'm going to show you how good I am. But I'm not going to do it in a way that's in your face. I'm going to do it in a way, wow, he's really good. Like he can actually hoop, and he's funny.
Yeah.
Like I be acting like I do in my videos while I play.
Yep.
You know, I be saying some funny stuff, outlandish stuff. You know, but
you can't do everything. I guess in the future, the goal is not to do everything digitally.
Yeah,
it's to get actually eventually where you can even.
Well, I'm about to hit on something. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. I have something in the works right now that's never been done, but it actually goes with this, and I think it might be the next big thing on YouTube. But I've actually been working hard on it, the idea, the concept, and it has to do with park takeovers, but it changes the narrative. So the narrative, like I said, they're very hyped, they're fun, but it's belittling. It's, I'm going to put you down to make me better.
Right.
And that's the culture. And I know, like, I mean, most of these things are done, like, you know, in the hood, which is cool.
Right.
That's where hoopers are. And I know that's more the culture there, which is awesome. I love it, you know.
Right.
But I want to change that narrative. Like, I want to bring a positive impact wherever I go. So I have an idea, and if I can make it work and find 4 people that can do the idea with me, I think it'll be the next big thing. I don't want to say it yet. All I'm gonna say though is smile. That's all you get. That's the hint.
I like it.
Yep.
No, I think you know, where I personally believe the world is going is you're gonna have, the world's so scandalous and crazy. The world's nuts out there right now. Yeah. So if I know I can grow up with Braxton, right, and I'm a young kid, I'm in my 13, 14, 15, 16, and now I'm in my 18, 19, 20s, but I know that Braxton, like, I'm following kind of what he's doing. I'm watching what he's doing. I know that I can be an entrepreneur. I know I can do these things.
Yeah.
Almost like you would see these people that are like singers or these famous people, like you go to a stage and you meet them, and then you can almost like be and spend time with them a little bit, and maybe it's once a quarter, but you're developing them instead of it being like an aggressive side. You're developing them like, hey, we can meet, we can talk, almost like a coaching program, kind of like we're kind of talking about on our end. Where eventually we would like to bring this full circle too.
No, that's awesome.
Where it's like your community people you're bringing together, maybe a quarter, and you're living life with them.
Yeah.
But you're kind of building them and encouraging them, and you know. No,
for sure. And that's kind of my well, that's why I'm still involved, like, with youth and stuff too, because I mean at the end of the day, that is a sacrifice, you know. That's a lot of time every Wednesday night, you know, doing that. But like, I never want to be above that, you know. I never want to be above speaking in the people, speaking in the kids, showing them. I mean, like, everyone you look up to is a human.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people forget that. Like, I just went to a Morgan Wallen concert, and it sold out 70,000 people in Ford Field. And, you know, it's like, oh, wow. I mean, I listen to Morgan Wallen all the time. But it's like, wow. But if you really think, I'm like, man, bro is just a guy. Like,
that's all he is.
He had the same come up as the same. Born, was a kid, got beat up, slapped by his mom when he was bad, you know, got praised when he did something good, went to school, got a first car, like, whatever the story is. But like, we all have the same story. It's just now he's this. So it's like, you know, you're never too good for anything. So I think speaking into people is a very good thing, for sure.
Don't you think our society is starving for that as well?
Oh, for sure. And I think it goes with what I said earlier. I think, you know, with how the culture is, everyone just looks at what you have now and not who you are.
Right.
You know, so a lot of people are just hurting inside.
Well, I think that's a mixed message that we are sending to people right now.
Oh, it is.
You'll see somebody, and I think I mentioned this maybe in a prior show, or maybe I didn't, but you might see somebody that pulls up in a Lamborghini to a $10 million home, and people want to follow that person. But it's not always necessarily means that they have the advice that you want to follow.
Oh, no, 100%.
But people want to see that and assume it is, but it's not always, because it could have been many things. It could have been something where they could have hit the lotto. They could have been inherited. They could have been all these different things. Doesn't mean they went through the pain and to get the gain, right?
Yeah,
like, at the end of the day, it's the journey that gets you to where you're trying to go. And I think that's where I hear about who you are today, and all the talks that we've had and all these things, and it necessarily isn't trying to get to an end destination more than it is trying to live a life and go through some stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think everyone's goals are different and everything too. But like something that I've been really contemplating and thinking about in my life too is like, I don't want to just be someone that's known for just working all the time. Like I want to enjoy life. I want, like you said, I want those conversations with kids, investing in them. Like I want to learn how to slow down at times. I don't want to be consumed by what I have going on. And that's something that's super hard. It really is. But I would rather make less money. Like when I'm 75, I would rather say that I made less money and I impacted more people. And I've been thinking about this a lot recently.
Could you make more money and impact more people and slow down?
I guess you could, but it all depends on what you're doing too. Like,
right.
With basketball,
is that possible?
With basketball, so that's where I'm at right now. Basketball, right? If I think about it, like how actually rich could I get from basketball? I could do well. I could, have the super nice house, the Lamborghini. I could get to that point, but I'm not an NBA player. Like, will I ever reach the $40 million a year? No. Like, that's not in the cards. You know what I'm saying? But I would, if I'm fine, I'm taken care of, my family's taken care of and stuff, and I'm able to really just like get to the point to where I can just sit back and just be like, wow, like, I just enjoy life. I have all of this. And now I can just sit back and just chill. Like I want to enjoy moments. I don't want to be so lost in what I'm doing that I forget people. I forget time. I forget how valuable connections are with people.
Absolutely.
Not on camera and on camera, but both. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I want to be more intentional for sure.
I think the answer comes down to community.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That includes your family community. The church community. I think as you have I think the people that are going to win in the future are going to be the people that can design and cultivate a community that is appealing to people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not fake.
Yeah.
I think we're past the fakeness with people. Mm-hmm. I think people are sick of it. They would rather see a couple that's being real and organic about things and struggles that they're going through. Yeah. Or Braxton, they'd rather see the real and the struggles that you go through.
Exactly.
And you say, I'm really good at designing this community of people, of these kids. Right now they're kids, but eventually they're going to be adults that they're my people. Yeah. I enjoy being around them. I love being around them. I can picture you as you get married, having a family, and you guys do these, I don't know, maybe you have a whole stadium and all these people come out and you're talking to them and and it's not taking a bunch of your time out. Yeah. It's just you're pouring into them and saying, hey guys, and you're kind of, it kind of reminds me of that we were at church and they kept, PT was pulling you down off that chair. Yeah. Instead, you're pulling people up, right? Yeah. You're just like, hey, you know what? Guys, like I've done this, like come with me on this journey and you should do it for yourselves. Yeah. And you're kind of cultivating that to be a great thing.
No, 100%.
Right?
And I think it's important to I'm Christian, faith-based, God is the most important thing and his will is the most important thing. And I think that's another important thing too for entrepreneurs and just people that, anyone, honestly anyone, but it's to really understand your calling and don't sway from your calling, because there's so many voices, so many people trying to tell you what you should do, and it's not bad advice like we talked about earlier. Like everyone's trying to build their life, everyone has their experiences, everyone has their life, everyone has what they think is right and awesome, but it's important to know what your path is and what your calling is. So for me, I know that God has blessed me with what I have, not because of I'm the best or I'm better than anyone, because there's so many more people more qualified to do what I do than me. But I honestly feel like God has given me what I have to impact other people that are more successful than me in a spiritual sense. So I feel like my calling is, I think I've told you this before, but God told me that I would never make the most money in this field. I would never have the most followers in this field, but I would have enough to where it put me in the same room with the people with the 20 million, the top of the line. I'd be in the room with them.
Right.
And he told me that you will impact those people. And because of the impact you have on those people, it will impact their people that follow them. And I feel like that's important because my impact might not be to every individual kid, and they might never know. But it's if I don't do my part, those kids don't get impacted. So I think it's important to understand, okay, I can't reach every kid. Cool, I'll reach the ones I can, but I'm going to reach the people that can reach every kid.
Right.
And but that all goes with knowing God and knowing the Lord and understanding your calling and not swaying from it.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you, but there is a guy, and I don't remember his name, but I remember watching a documentary on this. It was a pastor that he was at every inauguration. And he also is he has pictures with every single former president.
You have told me this.
He
What's
knows
his name?
He knows everybody. Like
I know who you're talking
it's
about.
almost odd. Like if you look and you go online, you search it out. He literally is at every single event. He pours into almost every famous person, every political person. He is a player, but nobody really knows much about him.
Yeah.
But he is that influencer behind the scenes that everybody knows.
But imagine if
or
he
not
never
doesn't know, but he's impacting everybody. Nobody knows him, but he's impacting everybody.
Imagine if that guy did not do his job.
Right.
His call. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I think people need to take more pride of. Like I was telling my girlfriend this when she was kind of telling me her testimony and what she's been through in her life and stuff. She's like, yeah, it's nothing special. I was like, what do you mean? I was like,
nobody should ever
a
say
story is a story. A story has power. I've never been through what you've gone through, but some little girl has. And you're going to be able to reach that little girl. I couldn't reach like a kid like that because I don't know. I haven't been through that. I can say, yeah, man, I'm here for you. I understand. That's cool. But I don't, but like you've done this. You've been here. This has happened to you. So, yeah, maybe you haven't been to Haiti and, built huts for, a bunch of little kids that don't have shoes. But you've been through this real life stuff that so many people in this generation have. Like testimony has power. Stories have power. And I think people feel like they can't do something for God or do something in this world because they don't have this wow moment, this wow story. You don't need a wow. I was homeschooled. I was born in a Christian household. Like I was raised right. My parents did a great job.
Right.
But I feel like my testimony still holds weight just because there's a lot of kids that were raised right. And still don't know what to do. They're being invited to parties, having people ask them to do stuff that they know is not right, but they're getting sucked into this crowd. And they're like, okay, what's right? Because this is fun, but this isn't right. And then having someone that, from the outside looking in is like, oh, wow, he's got a lot. He's got followers. He's got money, nice car, whatever. And it's like, he's saying that you don't have to do that. Like, you can do it right. And I think it's important, like I said, like to know who you are, know what God's called you to be, and to live it out. Living it out is so important. That's this generation. We don't live nothing out anymore.
It's all all talk.
Superficial.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's kind of like was our goal of this. What we're doing here is we realize that there's a lot of people that have not told their story that are. There's a lot more to it. Life is so complicated. There's all these little pieces and there's all these little details. And I think we're out there. It kind of reminds me of the, hey, Braxton, how's your day going by church? Or wherever we're at. Good. You could be having the worst day in the world. And I'm going to ask you, and you're going to tell me good. And everybody does. And that's when we're trained to say that. Hey, how you doing? Good. How you doing? Good. Somebody, their mom could have died that day. How you doing? Good. It's like, wow, they tell.
We're programmed. Everybody's
we're programmed. And it's like, be real. Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on in your life? How are you feeling? Like, and I love the idea, and that's why I love where social media, and we talk about this a lot, where people will hate on social media. But it could be used for a lot of good.
Oh, for sure. I think the people that hate on social media still are the people that really don't quite understand it. And that's why I'm really cool with answering questions. Like, I mean, I don't tell people how much money I make or anything like that. But, like, I'm cool with answering questions about that kind of stuff because I know it's not out of place in people's heart where it's like, out of a weird place. It's really just like, I want to understand this. Like, how do you make money?
Yeah.
Like, how does it? Because no one knows yet. It's like
it's a foreign
concept. You see these YouTubers with the big house, the nice car. It's like, okay, how did they do that? Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like because people just don't know. It's not like one of those things. Doctors make $200,000 to $400,000 a year or whatever. Like a good doctor, like we know that as people. Dentists make good money. Like we know that. But like YouTuber, like how? So I mean, like I think Sorry, I went off the rails, but yes.
Yeah, no, it's
honesty.
Yeah. It's just being real and transparent, and I think it just goes back to I think that's where the world's getting reshaped by social media a little bit, and just saying, okay, you had the first generation of before social media exists where we didn't know what it was, and that first wave that came through, it was I got to post everything that everybody has to see perfectly. Yeah. And I think the next wave of social media is like, no, the more people that are organically real and saying, who's Braxton? Oh, you struggled with this. Who's that? And same thing with Rennie and Shelley. It's like, who are these people? And then is the result that and it could be a negative result. It could be a positive result. But is the result that I'm looking to get? And maybe I can follow in those footsteps a little bit and follow because he's being honest. But if you're always being superficial, I can't follow in those footsteps because at the end of the day,
how am I supposed to do that?
Entrepreneurship is sloppy.
Yeah.
We're probably the most sloppy people for sure. I mean, like I didn't even know I had to be here today until this morning. Like, but that's. I mean, I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but like it really is how it is. Your brain is always somewhere.
Right.
Somewhere else. At least that's how it is for me. Like. I mean, I do try to plan out ahead, but I mean, I'm literally booking flights 4 days before I have to go. What do I have to do today?
Right.
And then I do it.
I get that constantly.
Yeah.
Like my mom, she'll want to talk to me and she's like, how can you not know what's going on? I'm like, Mom, I do not look at my day until the night before.
Right.
That's so true.
That's the same here.
My trainer asked me that today. He's like, what does your July look like? I was like,
what?
I don't know. Like, I could be in like 12 different countries. I don't know. Or I could just be here making regular videos.
Seriously.
My normal schedule. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just kind of here for it.
Well, it's funny because if I do schedule a meeting, I do schedule.
Yeah.
I have a schedule.
Yeah.
I couldn't live without my schedule.
Right.
I just don't know what. So like, I put things on my schedule 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But then next thing you know, I'll be like, I totally didn't like. The fact is like you don't realize like, okay, these things are coming up, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, my day. So it's people like, in a month or two from now, you're like, I didn't know that I booked out my whole day.
Yeah.
But then also things will get squeezed in the day before, day after, and it's crazy how much stuff will get piled in. But that's just entrepreneurship. It's not the same thing every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my day by day is so unique that it's like, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Well, that's What were you saying?
Very exciting. Right?
And that's how I like to live. Like you never know what's gonna happen. Like today brings a new adventure.
Right.
I don't have to go to the same place, do the same thing, leave. And then play video games. I can I can. What is today?
But there's a group of people that they'll lose their mind.
Yeah,
and that's they can't do. That's cool, but they can't handle that.
But you're probably not watching this show.
Yeah,
probably not.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Probably not watching.
Yeah,
but you can. I mean, if you think I'm pretty, like you can watch.
That curly hair,
It's curling.
What is that, Italian? What is?
Did you see me when I got that cut?
I didn't.
Did I tell you this story?
Maybe.
Oh my god. Okay, this has nothing to do with business or anything.
Like
this just has this stupidity on my part. So my hair was super long. Like I'm talking like when it straightened out, it was like in my lip. But so I play basketball. I sweat a lot. Straightens out, get in my eye, burns my eye, the salt from the sweat, feel me? And then so I'm like, I just need to get it cut. And my sister, love you Sabrina, used to be a cosmetologist. She's been cutting my hair since I was like 18, 16, 17. I'm 24 now, so I'm old. But so my sister's been cutting my hair for a while, and I'm like, hey Sabrina, like, can you cut my hair? I'm texting her. Not today, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow. Hey Sabrina, can you cut my hair? Not today, maybe tomorrow. Next day, hey Sabrina, and she just couldn't do it like for 2 weeks, and I'm like, it's just getting longer. So I looked up barbershops. I found one with good reviews. I didn't realize it was a Hispanic barber, and I go in, and I'm like, bro, this is what I want. He's like, yeah, bro, I got you. He showed me. I was like, okay, bet. This dude chopped my head off. I looked like a freaking thumb when I walked. Oh my gosh. I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. I'm not gonna cuss this dude out.
Did you?
I didn't pay. I walked out. I was so mad.
No.
I've never been that mad in my life. I'm like, do you realize that 2 million people follow me every day and they got to look at this now? I lost 500,000 followers that next day.
Did you really?
No, that was a joke.
That's awesome.
Everyone in the comments though was commenting, bro, your hair's not it right now. So it's finally starting to grow back. I don't think I'll ever get it cut again. That was my
awesome.
story.
That's
That's
good.
The curls are finally back. That's why I admit, because it wasn't curling for like 2 months, but now it's starting to curl again.
So
So
do you feel bad for what you did to that guy?
huh? Oh,
No.
not at all. I text him hate every day. No, just kidding. No, I DM'd him on Instagram and I apologize.
That's awesome.
And oh my gosh, okay. Wow, do I say this? I'm sponsored by this company called Underdog. Love you, Underdog. But it's a Christian athletic clothing brand,
Yeah.
and all the shirts say "Powered by Jesus" on it. And I was wearing one when I got my haircut. Oh gosh. Speaking of flaws, y'all like to see honesty in social
I love
media.
it.
Here's some
Yes.
honesty
love
from
it.
the best shooter on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. There you go.
No,
None
and,
of us
and,
are.
and we like people to believe we are,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's not true.
Yes.
We
It's not
all
true.
are humans, and that's what you kind of hit on earlier. We're all human beings, right?
Exactly.
So, if you could give any advice to young people that are like, I see what you're doing, what would it be? Like, what's the best advice you could give somebody, like a young person or somebody that wants to go into like entrepreneurship?
stop caring what people think about you.
That's good.
Like, just stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've had so many people tell me, and I'm thinking because I think how I was raised, like it really never really bothered me. I mean, of course, there's like maybe moments, certain things happen, but like stop caring. If you care so much what people think, probably entrepreneurship is not for you because like
Right.
the majority of the world does not think like we think. The majority of the world thinks the cookie cutter way of life. So if you go outside of that way of life, like people are gonna say stuff. People are gonna have their opinions, and people should have opinions. Like that's like we're all right. We all are entitled to an opinion. Ooh, quote. I'm gonna mess this up, but I have it hanging up in my wall. It's my favorite quote. I got it when I started social media because I was getting a lot of hate when I started it, and it's like learn to embrace the hate, learn to love it, enjoy it. Everyone should have opinion about you. No one hates the good ones. They only hate great ones. So, like, if you're not doing something great in this world, no one's going to hate on you.
Right.
If you're doing something outside the box, if you're doing something great, people will say stuff because they don't know or they
Right.
want to be doing it and they're not. And they're like, why am I not having this? Why am I not doing this?
Well, one of the things is once you understand that no matter what, people are always judging.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah.
We're like, we say, we're not judging people. You're judging me right now. Mm-hmm. And it might come from
So
a different.
hard, actually.
I would.
As soon as I walked in here, I saw that book, and I was like,
and you were like,
judge.
he's so amazing.
Judging.
And he's the best person I've ever met.
You have nice eyes.
Thanks. For sure. Thanks. But no, we're-
Connor, you blush.
no, but
Sorry.
But no, everybody's always judging in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're judging how you present it. You're judging the podcast. You're judging how it feels to be here. You're judging. We're always, I don't know if the word's judging, but analyzing every
Yeah.
single thing. So why do we get so hung up on people's thoughts? It's okay. I don't have no problem if somebody's like, no, I think your eyes are ugly,
Yeah.
like you said, or it doesn't, it's irrelevant. It's like, no,
Yeah.
everybody has their opinion, which is okay, right?
Yeah.
I think I have an answer. I think it's because we work so hard for things and we expect all that time and all that thought and all that energy that we put into it for everyone to love it. And then when people don't, it's like,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
worked so hard on this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because it's important to you.
Exactly. It was important to me. And then
Yeah.
you hate on it and it's not important to you. And I think that's why it sticks out,
Yeah.
because like you'll have 1,000 comments saying, "Oh my God, I love you. This is awesome. Great job. I love this. Keep doing this." And you have that one. And it's like, I think that's why it sticks out. It's because it's like, I expected everyone to love it because I worked so hard on it. Like, you should love it. You should understand that this took me 37 hours to make, you know, or whatever it is. And then the one person that doesn't, it's like, I wasted 37 hours. But
that's so
I think,
true.
You know, I think the answer too is I think that's why people are so afraid to step out because they don't want the person to say something bad about what they're doing. So how many great ideas are held back because they're afraid of one person not liking it when there could be 1,000 people that like it?
Right there.
You know, it's crazy, right? And you're like, I remember once hearing this in. Anybody that knows me, Shelley, you might even know this at church, is I am not good at being on stage. I'm nervous about it. I don't like it. But then I heard something and I'm getting better at it because it's like you could literally get on stage and fall flat on your face and nobody is going to think about it. They might laugh at you at that moment. But the fact is that people that laugh, they're probably going to have so many of these other things that they pick on every single day that it's irrelevant in even a week. I mean, we even see it in the news where somebody murders somebody. And like a month later or 6 months later, nobody even thinks about that person anymore. But so we're afraid to step out and learn the skill of being on stage or whatever it may be. But on the other hand, if you do say something that's super impactful, that you can change 1,000 people's lives.
Sure.
So it's worth always the risk of stepping out. Am I driving this
no,
idea
100%.
home? It's like it's always worth that risk of doing something and trying something and being bold.
You're actually better on stage than you think you are.
And you want to know something that really helped me with kind of what you're saying, like being on stage or even stuff like this or making videos. It was a mindset change. And the mindset change was, it's not for me, it's for whoever I'm doing it for. And that really changed everything. Like, especially with church and ministry and being on stage and preaching and praying and whatever it is. It's like, I'm not doing this to make me look good. I'm not doing this to be the best preacher. I'm not doing this for this. I'm doing this for that one kid sitting in the back that needs to hear what God needs them to hear. You know what I'm saying? And then that's even like with social media. Like, and I know a lot of influencers they do it for them and they do it for the glory. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, like I don't do it for like glory. I really want to just reach people. So my videos, that's why I don't care what I look like in front of the camera. I want to entertain you. If you're having a bad day, I want you to watch my video and I want it to be the best minute of your day. You know, just because it just put a smile on your face. Like, it's not for me, it's for them. I'm not trying to look pretty. I'm not trying to whatever. It's for you. And as soon as I started thinking like that, I stopped getting nervous. I stopped worrying about, I got to go on stage. The only thing I worry about is writing stuff down and putting it in a bottle. That's literally the only thing that I worry about now.
That's awesome.
Again, like I said, it's not for me, it's for them. And I think, and it really makes you perform better. When you're doing something, because all of us, we're probably all protective people over our families and who we are.
Absolutely.
If I'm doing something for someone else, if I had to fight just for me, like, get away. You try to touch my mom, you try to touch my girl,
about to get a beat
it's
down.
Different. You know, like, okay, like, let's go. Like, whatever it has to do. And I think when you think like that, it's for you. I'm doing this for you. It changes everything.
That's awesome.
No, that's powerful.
That is really awesome. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you.
The bottle's coming.
Well, the bottle's coming, but first I want to say thank you for joining us.
No problem. It was fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us on the Shoreline Show. Please check out our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. You can also find us on most all of the podcast platforms as well. And so make sure you're tuning in to the Shoreline Show. We love to have you. So this is the message in a bottle. The part that you were looking forward to this whole time, Braxton. We have.
I want y'all to know I graduated college with an English. See, never mind. Screw that joke. Screw that joke.
And it doesn't help that you're dyslexic.
So our last guest wrote a message for you, Braxton. Oh gosh. You okay? Take a breath. Take a breath.
It was a good joke, and I fumbled it. Okay, can I grab it?
Yeah, you can grab it.
Yeah.
There's a message for you.
A message in a bottle.
Matches.
Are you nervous about what it says?
Huh? Says screw you. Leave. How am I supposed to read this?
Well, I can read it for you if you can't.
No, wait.
Can you read it?
Oh, wait. There's more.
There's more.
Oh, okay, this I can read. It was his signature. I was like, how am I supposed to read this handwriting? I can't read regular English. How do you quit the...
Okay.
We'll read it. I like it.
How do you quiet? How do you quiet the voice that says, you are going to fail?
I'll read it now. So that you
Yeah.
think I edit it. How do you quiet the voice that says you're going to fail? Keep succeeding. Just keep doing
That's
it.
good.
Just
Yeah,
keep pushing forward.
keep
Don't.
going.
Honestly, what an easy answer,
Yeah.
but powerful. That's huge.
No, for sure. I mean, that's the best way. Just keep succeeding. Keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Why would you stop? You're too awesome to stop. Don't stop.
Yep.
Keep going.
Stop stopping.
Yeah.
Love it.
Stop stopping. Exactly.
Stop stopping.
That's good.
Love
Yeah.
it. All right, Braxton, this has been awesome.
Thank you.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, where can they find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms except for Twitter at Braxton Picou, and that's literally it. Just first, last name, no caps, no
How do you spell
spaces,
that?
nothing.
That's it.
BRAXTONPICOU.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Awesome.
Or best shooter on TikTok,
If you type in best shooter on TikTok, I'll pop up. You'll see this.
for sure. That's awesome. All right, awesome. Yeah, and I highly recommend, again, following Braxton. He has definitely been an influential person on my life. If you can just follow what he does, it's amazing. And I'm excited to see where it goes because I think you're going to always be evolving into new things. So it's always, I know I get a kick out of watching what's new coming up in your life. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Download the Perfect Shooter course, 6-week program that's guaranteed to make you a better shooter.
I love it.
Sweet.
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. Well, now you get to write a message.
Okay. Does it have to be a question?
It can be a question. It can be a statement.
What
Got
what
it.
stamp do you
What-
want to put on
I
the
know.
next
I already got
episode?
what I'm going to say.
Awesome.
I thought about it. It hit me in the middle of the show.